Now to an I-team investigation. When you call 911, you expect a quick response. The Milwaukee Fire Department has partnered with private ambulance companies to help make sure of that. Now, last month, the I-team broke the news that one of those companies wants to end that partnership. Here's Sean Gallagher on why this will put a strain on a system that's already overwhelmed.
The private ambulance companies that help the Milwaukee Fire Department are expected to answer a portion of the city's 911 calls. But when they're not able to, they're turned back. If all three private ambulance companies can't respond, it falls back on the Milwaukee Fire Department to answer the call, which means resources for your 911 call could be stretched thin. Bell, Curtis, and Paratech ambulance companies all agreed to handle the city's non-life-threatening 911 calls, also known as basic life support calls. It frees up the Milwaukee Fire Department paramedics to handle the most serious calls, otherwise known as advanced life support service.
Normally, items from a basic life support standpoint won't kill you right now. Advanced life support items, have a higher lethality in the short term.
But call volumes are up, and the private ambulances are not able to take every call. Now, Paratech wants out of the agreement.
Well, all the pressure only ends up in one spot, and that's here.
Midwest Medical Transport bought Paratech in December last year. Since then, Paratech's turnback rate has skyrocketed. According to Ambulance Service Board reports, Paratech logged 248 turnbacks in December. By February, it jumped to 643 and stood at 603 in March. Despite the turnbacks, Paratech handled more than 11,000 911 calls from September to March, 34% of all calls taken by private ambulances. The remaining private ambulance companies tell us that's not a call load they're equipped to handle right now.
I don't think we're quite there yet. We haven't had those discussions yet. At this point, we're not ready to do that.
It's something we need to be concerned about today.
It's a system that's already strained. From September to March, only Bell Ambulance meets the city's standards for turnbacks, less than 3% of calls according to Ambulance Service Board reports. Curtis Ambulance turned back about 21% of calls in that same time frame. Meanwhile, Paratech turned back 43%, meaning the additional calls may likely fall on the fire department paramedics.
The system is codependent upon private ambulance agencies to handle, a majority of the basic life support call volume. With that capacity being removed from the system, it then falls on us, as a provider of last resort, to then offer those services.
Midwest medical officials did not respond to our requests for comment. In Monday's Ambulance Service Board meeting, they explained staffing and funding concerns played a role in the company's decision to leave.
We are committed to seeing this through the end of our notice period and working as cooperatively and in as much conjunction as we can with the fire department. As has been hit on the head several times here, staffing and labor is everybody's challenge, and we share in that.
MFD Acting Chief Aaron Lipsky tells us there's likely no quick fix as Paratech prepares to exit the system. In the short term, MFD is adding 2 additional ambulances staffed by EMTs.
Those will be basic life support ambulances only. So we're not touching the paramedic units. They're busy without all of this stuff going on. We're adding 2 BLS ambulances to pull some of that pressure off of the ALS system.
While MFD and the remaining private ambulances are considering more long-term fixes, he's asking the community to be patient.
You're still receiving care far above and beyond what many municipalities can lay out for you. Those basic life support calls where there may be discomfort, there may be minor injury, I would beg the community's patience if the wait for that transport unit takes a little bit longer than maybe they think it should.
All involved say the way they're funded and the ability to hire staff is at the root of the issue. Thursday night, the I-team examines how they're funded by the state and how that impacts the entire operation. Reporting in Milwaukee for the I-team, I'm Sean Gallagher.
Here's what we know. EMS calls are by far the largest percentage of calls the Milwaukee Fire Department gets. A 2018 report shows EMS calls accounted for 82% of the total calls for that year. Rescue calls made up 12%, while fire and service calls made up the rest. You can find